Troy here from Cape Ann Conversations, and today we've got the Gloucester Education Foundation with us, and we've got a whole team. The table is full. I'm going to pass it around. We're going to go around the table to make some intros. Emily, why don't you start?
Sure. Thank you for having us, Troy. I'm Emily Siegel. I'm the Executive Director of the Gloucester Education Foundation.
Good morning. My name is Toni Waldron, and I am the Arts Festival Coordinator for the third year.
Hi, I'm Jessica Magiotta, and I am the Power of Play Event Chair for 2025.
Wow, that is a technical title. That's a long business card you've got.
I'm a volunteer, no business card.
Oh, that's right. Emily, why don't you give us a little history lesson on how the Gloucester Education Foundation got started and kind of like what we've done historically. Then we'll move into what you guys have got going on today with these two great events we're going to talk about.
Sure, thanks. So GEF was founded back in 2005, so we are celebrating our 20th year this year, and was founded by a group of concerned community members, parents who are worried about cuts in the Gloucester Public Schools, and cuts to the things that we know kids love most: arts, music. Can you guess what else?
Yeah, I mean, this is continuing to happen in a lot of school districts, these types of cuts, but they're like, to a lot of kids, they're the most important things. It's not your sports. It's your others.
Sports don't usually get cut. So arts, music, theater, and STEM, a lot of science and technology, engineering courses, those things were being cut back. And so GEF was started, a real grassroots effort from community members. And over the past 20 years, we've grown into an organization with full-time staff. We've raised $10.5 million in those 2 decades, the majority of which has gone right back into the Gloucester schools. So the main way that we function is that we make grants directly to the Gloucester schools with ideas that teachers come up with. Teachers are full of good ideas and have limitations when it comes to time and money. So GEF grants them the gift of time and money if they have a great idea to implement something in the classroom, sometimes after school, sometimes in the summer for kids. And sometimes those proposals come to us and they're co-authored by students, by parents, by administrators, other members of the community. But we make about 25 grants a year. And we fund everything from elementary school, theater, chorus, band, the Gordon Summer STEAM Camp, which is an awesome free summer program for 4th and 5th graders where they do engineering and coding. At the middle school level, big programs, O'Malley Academy, an after school and summer program. There are just over 600 kids at O'Malley. 250 of them participate in this program. And if you know middle schoolers, which I know you do because you have an almost middle schooler.
6th grader.
Yeah. Middle schoolers vote with their feet. Like if they don't want to go to a program after school, they're not going. 250 kids participate, so it's huge. The O'Malley Science Center has been a big investment for us. There's a suite of 4 science labs at O'Malley Middle School, 3D printers, aquaponics students. They have an incredible, they call it their slime lab, because it's where they can do kind of like wet experiments and messy things.
That's great. So the kids aren't bringing the slime home.
No,
and
they're not actually
their
making
mom's
slime,
couch.
but they're doing like, if you go in there, they're doing like wave measurements and all kinds of incredible science projects. They build the sail cars, which people often will see photos of. It was on the cover of our report last year that they go test out on the O'Malley track. And then at the high school, we fund all kinds of things, a lot of work around engineering and vocational programs, AP summer seminars for kids that are going to be taking an AP class in the fall and want to get kind of a head start on preparing for the rigor and challenge of an AP class. So really trying to support all kids and support kids who need extra help, support kids that need extra challenge, and everything in between. And I always say, like, a GEF-funded program, if you walk into a classroom and kids are out of their seats, working with their hands, making something, creating something, active, doing something, like there is a good chance that GEF had a hand in that. And when I say GEF, what I really mean is community members have helped fund programs that came from teachers' good ideas. We're just the intermediary helping make it happen.
Now, GEF only helps Gloucester Public Schools. Is there a GEF for Beverly or Ipswich or these other?
Yeah.
Because this podcast reaches all of Cape Ann, right? So we've got Rockport, we've got all these other towns, so it's
Yeah, so all of those communities have some version of a GEF. There's an educational foundation of Rockport. Ipswich has a really amazing like arts, music, drama, theater foundation that works to fundraise for those programs. So every community has some version of an ed foundation. I would say a couple things that make GEF unique is we make really significant investments. There are a lot of education foundations that maybe will invest in a few programs a year. Maybe they have one time a year that teachers can apply for grants, maybe just in the fall, for example. GEF, we take proposals year round, and we are responding to the needs and the wants of teachers and students throughout the year. So that, I think, is a distinguishing feature. We also work really, really closely with our school district. And that's true in many places, but there are some places where the Ed Foundation is sort of doing its own thing over here. We try really hard to work in tandem with the school district so that we're dovetailing and supporting the improvement efforts that the district feels is most important. They know what students need, and they have the closest contact with teachers, with families, with students. So we work really closely with the school district. And when I say that, I mean administrators, I mean the school committee, I mean the principals in the buildings, to make sure that that the things that we're supporting through our fundraising are really meeting the needs that they see for kids and for teachers.
Okay. We have a couple big events, like right around the corner, and then one this podcast will probably be out for to promote as well.
Great.
Who do we want to go to first? We've got the Power of Play and then the Arts Festival, right?
Yeah, so let's go with Jessica first, who is an unbelievable volunteer. This woman has a full-time job, like 12 side gigs, 3 children, very busy, but and this is, I think, like the power of what GEF does. Jess is a volunteer who is spending like 6 months of her year as the event chair for this amazing, wonderful Power of Play event. So I'll let Jess talk a bit about that.
Thank you. It's truly a pleasure to be the Power of Play event chair for Gloucester Education Foundation. I know you mentioned our title is really long, but it's an amazing event, so it's worthy of an awesome title. It's not just me alone. We have a team of at least 20 inner core volunteers that are heading up each station at this event, which is coming up on Sunday, March 23rd. Can you believe it? I did the math in my head and it's like 13 days away.
Do you like take the next weekend off, like completely?
I think the weekend after I have a wedding, but
Monday the 24th is massage day.
yes,
There you go.
we have the day off and we're getting massages because our feet will hurt. We'll be there all day setting up and taking down. But you can come with your children. How many do you have?
I have 2. I have a 17-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Oh, nice. Well,
Can they come from any town?
Absolutely. It's open to all, and all ages are welcome as well. So there's going to be an opportunity for your 17-year-old and your 11-year-old as well. Even my 3-year-old, even an 18-month-old of one of our volunteers, Tony, she's welcome as well because it's for all ages.
So tell us a little bit about, like, who's there. So we've got not presenters, that's probably the wrong term, but like maybe like, but you get it. Like we have businesses, like real local businesses. There's a circus coming, right?
Seaside Circus.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a host of corporate and business partners. So this should be exciting for all the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce members to hear some shout outs here. But we not only have our lead sponsor and founding partner with Cape Ann Savings Bank, but we have Sawyer Free Libraries involved as corporate sponsor, Seashore Comfort Solutions, Medeiros Construction, Goldfish Swim Schools new this year, and Dr. David Harrison Family Dentist. That's where we get our teeth cleaned.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many families historically will come to this event? It's a pretty big event.
Yeah, I would say last year we had about 1,200 attendees that came through the door, if you can imagine, in such a short period of time. So it's great that it's in the Gloucester High School field house to accommodate the size. And it's fun because as the kids come in, the intent is for this hands-off, tech-free playtime to connect with your parents, to connect with peers, to connect with creativity in different zones. So there's a place where you can explore the human skeleton, compare it to a whale rib cage this year and discover. And the next station is touch. So it's very sensory based, where you're going to be feeling pluffle and shaving cream with blocks. Move on over to move, and you might have an exciting silent dance party. And that's where you're going to see some interaction with the kids, and Seaside Circus, who's one of our community partners, as well as North Shore Karate is going to be there with some boards to break. DF Fitness is going to be teaching, how do I say that?
Muay?
Muay Thai, I think it's a style of jiu-jitsu. And so there's going to be lots of opportunities beyond just the silent dance party at Move Station.
And this is totally free for families to come to.
100% free, sponsored, and paid by all of these sponsors, as well as Gloucester Education Foundation. It's really important that we don't charge for an event for the community, because it's a way for Gloucester Education Foundation to give back to the community, for the sponsors to connect with families in the Gloucester community. And I think of Power of Play as preceding for the future generation of Gloucester Public Schools. So this is sometimes families' first interaction and experience with Gloucester Education Foundation. I know personally it was mine. And when I walked in the gym and saw how amazing the event was and the amount of work that went into providing this free service to the community, I had to sign up. So last year I did the swag bag, and here I am as the event chair this year. But it's pretty powerful to see the impact it has. And my children are all, oh, the Power of Play, I can't wait to go. And what are we going to do this year? Because they're one of their favorite events, not besides the Touch, which is sponsored by Kindergarten's Daycare, by the way. They love the Build Station, which has boxes that they can build. And this year we have a new update to build with some build challenges, some fun marble runs. So there's going to be some very exciting things happening, as well as Create. Oh my goodness, at Create, there's going to be a full life-size tapestry with fish prints on it. Maritime Gloucester is participating with bringing a whale rib cage, as well as some other bones to explore, and these fun fish prints to make at the Create Station. We're also going to be doing some really cool sensory jars that your kids, those like lava lamps kind of, but you can take it home.
They get to take it home?
Yes. There's lots of fun take-homes they're going to walk away with, as well as an amazing swag bag that you can color and that has an amazing beach ball in it for the summer.
So this is a really strong why for the parents to bring their kids. This is a no-brainer. Like if you want to, it's a Sunday, you said?
Sunday, March 23rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So, I mean, everyone, there's no reason why you wouldn't come unless you have something else already planned.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us a little bit of the why on the other side of this, because that's what makes this event so great, is getting the sponsors and getting the businesses to take part that can bring value to the kids. Let's try to drive some more people to sponsor this with their why.
Of course. In terms of participating, we discussed why play is so important. We discussed why this is a pillar point or an introduction point to the Gloucester Education Foundation. But in their formative years, this is a chance to connect with young families and really have them see that you're morally aligned with the values of Gloucester Education Foundation, that you believe in investing in the children for the future of our community. So as a business partner, as a sponsor, you get the chance and opportunity to be a part of a fantastic nonprofit that is changing the community, that's filling in the gaps that quite honestly need to be filled as we have funding cuts trickling down. It's going to be more important than ever that Gloucester Education Foundation fills those gaps to ensure that the children of Gloucester have that same experience they deserve in education.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of sponsoring the T-ball team. And when you sponsor the T-ball team in the community rallies behind you. And if you've got a business in Gloucester or any of these towns and you support these education foundations, it comes back to you through the people that you're
Right.
supporting.
Tenfold.
And we have to do that.
Yeah. The other important part, too, is the Gloucester Education Foundation, and Emily does a really important job of making sure that as a business partner, as a sponsor, you will have the ability to include flyers in the take-home bags that every family is going to be taking home. So we said 1,200 attendees. You can think that that's at least probably a good 500 to 600 families that your touch points that you're going to get to tap into in terms of demographically that might not necessarily go to your company on any given day.
Right. And if you're Goldfish Swim School, all you need is really a few families to be like, my kid is going to go learn to swim there or become a better swimmer there, and you get all the value you need.
Right. Yeah, they're actually bringing a fun game, so they're going to have some fun with us and playing Plinko. I'm also really excited, too. So if you do have babies, don't be turned away. We have an amazing Wiggle Zone for infant and toddlers, sponsored by the Cape Ann YMCA. So they're going to be there as well to make sure that there's a safe place for your littles to have fun and experience soft touch and some climbing structures that are safe for, age appropriate for and under.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's Power Play. Mm-hmm. We also have Tony with us. Tony,
Yes.
I think you're going to tell me about the Arts Festival.
I am indeed. So many similarities in the importance of the Arts Festival to what Jessica's already shared. For some scope and background, where Power of Play is an active moment for you to get your kids and get engaged. This is really a celebratory moment for us as a community to come together and really uplift the work of not only the teachers and instructors in the district who work with our students, but also all of the students in music, in theater, in visual arts, and more. As we mentioned, Gloucester Education Foundation does partner with the high school in vocational, in mechanical engineering, cabinetry, and we always invite them to show the art of their field as well. So for the last 3 years as chair, I've been able to kind of take what's existed prior and elevate it by incorporating things that bring a little bit of je ne sais quoi to the activity. So we've got food trucks, we've got art making activities, because people always love to get into the activity, right? Power of Play is hands-on. We didn't want it to just be an opportunity for you to come with your family, look at the art, and then leave, because it's a big lift. We put months into planning, sponsors. We want to make sure people spend the afternoon with us. This year, the Arts Festival is also Saturday, May 17th. Similarly, it's 11 to 3, so it's a full day. We invite families to come participate with us, not just to see the beautiful artwork and experience the performances. We do have an entire program of music performances, starting with our pre-K and going all the way to our 12th graders. So you really get to enjoy a free concert if you come for the entire day. And then, of course, we wanted to elevate it with food trucks. And similar to what you were saying, Jessica, about the why of investing, sponsors, and supporting these big events that GF puts on, we want to stay local as much as we can. We recognize that this community is very unique, very special, and that we support one another, we show up for one another, and we want to thread that through these events. So we have Holy Cow Ice Cream, we have Ria's Pizzeria, Sweets and Meats Barbecue, and Castaways Coffee this year, all joining us to provide beverages and food to keep you fed so you can have that energy to keep staying with us the whole day. And, I think for me, it's important to be in this position to give back to my community as an educator, as somebody who's worked in different social justice movements, because it threads what we all care about. We all care about our children and the future that they present, right? So we want to make sure they feel seen and invested in. And this is an opportunity, I really call it events activism, for us to actually showcase what the kids care about, what inspires them, what keeps them in school, what keeps them motivated. And in the arts and culture, music, theater, performance, that's a lot.
Yeah, not everybody's going to play lacrosse or football, right?
No.
I go to these, my kids were in band, my son's still in band, and, you go to these performances, and these kids are working really hard at band.
Yeah.
and they do a great job, and that's why it's like this event is like the Super Bowl of the arts for Gloucester.
It
and
is.
I friggin'
We might have to coin that, actually, going forward.
when is it? It's May.
So it's May 17th, Saturday, 11
Where
to
is it?
3. This year, we're actually in a new location due to the fact that typically we've been downtown. We've wanted to keep the location central to the city and accessible for all. And we similarly have many partners that allow us to execute and elevate both the city itself, Gloucester City, the public schools. We have Sawyer Free Library and the Cape Ann Museum as our partners, but both the Sawyer Free Library and Cape Ann Museum this year are undergoing renovations, which are very exciting for us, but maybe not as exciting if we're trying to have a festival outdoors in a construction zone. So this year we're going to be at O'Malley Middle School. A beautiful campus for us to spread out. We have, of course, access to the building itself, so we can have a rain day plan where years past we've had to come up with a whole alternative day. So it's rain or shine, Arts Fest this year on the 17th. We get access to the gym, we get access to the auditorium and theater. We're going to elevate using what we have. And one of the activities I'd like to highlight, or art making activities, is going to be with Tim Mears. And I don't know if you want to add in a little bit about the project that Tim Mears is doing with the middle school.
Yeah, so this is actually a good connective tissue between what I talked about in terms of the programs we fund and the events we put on. So the O'Malley art teachers approached us now almost 2 years ago to say, the outside of O'Malley it's not the prettiest building in Gloucester. There's a lot of brick, there's a lot of concrete. And they said, we want to do something with students to beautify the exterior of this school. And we also want them to get exposure to a working artist. And so they applied for a grant to GEF, which is now in its second year, to do an art installation on the side of O'Malley. And the artist they selected to work with was Tim Mears, who's a metal sculptor. And last year, the kids do two-dimensional drawings, three-dimensional papier-mâché models to kind of inspire the theme of the sculpture, and then Tim takes their work and interprets it into metal. And so the first phase is up. If you've been to O'Malley recently, it went up in the fall. It's a gorgeous school of fish, and they're working on the second layer of that this year. It will go up in the fall. But Tim's going to be at the Arts Festival as one of our arts activities, doing a metalwork demonstration, doing an interactive 3D modeling demonstration to build prototypes and things like that. So we're trying to connect also the work that happens inside the schools that we're funding with what happens at the festival, so more people than just O'Malley students can get a taste of it.
That's fantastic.
And I think also just including working artists, right? Showing our young people that they can take these passions and turn them into careers. So I think that's important. We've also had Leslie Davison. She's been a working artist in our community. She did the mural over on Rogers Street, if you know, over there. She did a beautiful mural last year as one of the community interactive art making activities. She was a kind of paint by number, beautiful view of Gloucester with all the things we associate. Seagulls, the man at the wheel, the greasy pole, all the things we love about living here. So
Right. So these are two major events that you guys put on. But if I'm kind of bringing it full circle a little bit too, the Gloucester Education Foundation is a daily workhorse in the Gloucester public school and community system. And one thing I always like to call out when I can is like, this isn't something, we were talking about this before, that is funded by like the state and federal government and these grants, and this is funded by the local businesses. So, and then the local community and the local foundations that make some grants to you. So the impact that you're having, which I'm going to have you talk about in a second, only happens if everybody else continues to support our community. Yep. And so if you're listening to this and you're a business owner or you run a local foundation that makes these types of investments, I mean, if there's one community that we have to relentlessly invest in, it's the children of this community. Like, they're the future. We have to give them opportunities. We can't just keep cutting everything and expecting good results. This is only happening because of the Gloucester Education Foundation. And that's kind of that. So that's the other side of this. This is a call to action for people to like put their money where their mouth is and continue to make this thing happen, even in what can be tight economic times. Mm-hmm. But the other side of this is like all of the stuff that you're doing. It is these summer programs. It is these after-school programs. It is these in-classroom programs. It is you were talking about a medical assistant program to basically add a fifth vocational aspect to the Gloucester High School, right?
Yep.
That doesn't happen without you guys.
It'd be really hard, I think, without, and I want to just be clear, like you guys, GEF, like it's not me or Tony or Jess. Like GEF is representative of hundreds and hundreds of people who volunteer their time to support our schools, who make donations. Like, of course, we love big checks, and it's always nice to get one. But we have hundreds of donors that literally have been giving $50 a year since 2005. Like people that just every year, as part of their giving, as part of when they think about, especially at year end or at the end of the school year in June, they think about like, okay, like who am I giving to in the community that just every year write us that small check. And those donors are so important. Many of them are parents in our schools. Many of them had kids in our schools 15 years ago who have since graduated and moved on, and they still give. So I just want to be clear, like GEF is a workhorse and we do a lot of work, but I feel like we're here as representatives of like a much bigger community effort.
And it doesn't have to be a check. It can be volunteerism.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got
There's
one of the
amazing-
biggest volunteers right here.
I mean,
but
I was even thinking of other amazing partners like Sassy Square Marketing,
Yeah.
who did all the marketing for the Power of Play materials. And then also Cedarwood Events is making that. This is like spoiler alert. So just let you know, there's going to be a giant balloon arch because of Emily's amazing idea. So Cedarwood Events is making that as well.
But like Lane's Coven, you know, they were on the podcast.
Yeah.
They're doing something in the school
Yeah, Lane's
wow.
Coven is,
actively during the day.
they're helping teach Romeo and Juliet to our 8th graders at
Wow.
O'Malley. All of our 8th graders.
And that's like, they were professionally trained theater actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that at every school. You don't get that without GEF.
Yeah, I mean that was an investment that GEF made to compensate not just Lane's Coven, but also compensate the teachers for at O'Malley who are going above and beyond. Like this isn't part of their necessarily the planning that goes into that, right? The change in your teaching routines to welcome teaching artists in for 4 sessions for every 8th grade class. So being sure that we're fairly compensating teachers that have these great ideas, but like I said in the beginning, are limited by time and money. And they need extra support. And we like to be that, to push teachers to be even better than they are.
I've got an 8th grade science teacher wife in Ipswich, and believe me, there's a self-proposed budget from our family that goes into that school.
Yeah.
And it's not like teachers are like, you know, CEO billionaire philanthropists. They're not.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's everybody's making their sacrifices. So to be able to take that burden off of them while they're working their second and third jobs as teachers, you know, it's incredible. What you guys are doing is instrumental, and is probably at sometimes feels thankless. But if I can speak for everybody, thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep
Thank
up
you.
the good work, and we'll
Thank
keep
you.
pushing people to give and take part in it.
Yeah, I think the thank you is in the eyes of the children. So it never feels thankless with the great executive director at the helm.
Yeah.
Ditto that.
Well, hey, thank you for coming on here. We've got Emily, Tony, Jessica. I hope the events go great. I hope everybody shows up.
They will.
We'll see you guys
They
there.
will.
It's
They
free.
always do.
It's free.
Ice cream. There's ice cream.
There's
I had
swag.
shout out to Holy Cow. I had their Ritzy AF.
Oh, so good. It's
So
the
at
best
the
ice
arts-
cream.
I should say, at the Arts Festival, the kids get to design a signature flavor that Holy Cow creates before the festival to sell at the festival. So last year, our pre-K kids invented, I don't remember what they called it, like chocolate cookie crunch monster or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And it sold out. And this year, we're having our middle school students, since it's at O'Malley, we're going to have the middle school students design the flavor and put their recipe into Holy Cow.
Yeah, and they've
beforehand.
already made little paper sculptures. I've received all the images, you know, because we thread it all through from prototype to outcome.
That's exciting.
In
for
your
a middle
mouth.
schooler.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.